But I didn't do that because I thought we were trying to be truthful for this entire process. But clearly we weren't. Did Jeff Nippard rig his own challenge? If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Jeff Nippard is the co-owner of an app called MacroFactor. It's more than just a calorie tracking app. It does a lot of other things. It's an algorithm-based diet coach. And honestly, I absolutely love the app, and I've used it for well over a year now. And it's worked wonders for me. At the beginning of this year, Jeff shared a video on his social media.
I'm giving away $100,000, and you can win it. All you need to do is transform your physique in 100 days.
It goes on to slightly explain the 100-day challenge that MacroFactor is hosting, and that there's going to be 101 winners for this challenge. Since I was already using MacroFactor, this was a no-brainer for me. It allows me to make more content, allows me to, lock in and focus on my goals and make some kind of transformation. The rules and stipulations were as follows. Log at least 70% of your nutrition through MacroFactor and log your weight at least once a week. Maintain a healthy rate of weight change, which is established as a maximum of 1.5% of body weight or 2 pounds per week, whichever is higher. And honestly, I took this challenge really seriously. It was the first time I ever really dedicated myself to a true bulk. Even though it was a lean bulk, the idea of still putting weight on every single week continuously was a little bit scary to me. But I dove headfirst in and just locked in for 100 days straight. I put on almost 8 pounds. There's no way to know how many pounds of that was actually muscle. I speculate probably anywhere from 2 to 4. 4 would be the ideal amount that I was trying to put on, but 2 is probably more realistic. And honestly, it could have been even a little less. I noticeably put fat on during this process, and yeah, that was scary because I like to look leaner, and looking at myself every day in the mirror was a little upsetting the longer that it went on. But I did not shy away from trying to lift heavier weights, more reps, and just progressive overload the entire time. I specifically used one of Jeff's videos and followed those rules almost exactly. I ate in a small calorie surplus and tried to eat lots of whole foods and have good macros throughout the entire process. I was able to gain about 0.5 pound every single week, and the challenge went on for a little over 14 weeks, leaving me at about 7.5 pounds. From my understanding, the photos are supposed to be pretty much exactly the same from the first one to the last one. The only difference is the transformation of your body. What I didn't understand was that people were just making themselves look the worst that they possibly could in the before picture, and then probably getting a disgusting pump, getting way better lighting, and flexing harder than last time to make themselves look as good as possible. Channeling my inner Greg Doucette there. No, but seriously, the before and after was a little shocking to see. And honestly, when that email came out that the winners were announced, and I hadn't got any previous emails to let me know that I had won, which I was kind of waiting on, to say the least, I was disappointed. And honestly, for a couple hours that day, I was kind of beating myself up about it. And in my head, I was thinking, well, maybe I didn't try hard enough. Maybe I didn't lock in enough on the diet. I should have done this. I should have done that. But honestly, now that I'm able to reflect a little bit further, no, I shouldn't have done anything different. I went through the journey, I got through the journey, and I achieved my goal. While I didn't win the challenge, there is still a win to be had. I got through the process, I made it through my very first bulk, and it was an experience to say the least. I learned a lot about myself and my body through the entire process, so we can call that a win. So when I first got that email and I saw the pictures of all of the contestants, don't get me wrong, congratulations to everybody that won. You guys did an absolutely awesome job. I'm sure your stories were super heartfelt, and you all had life-changing experiences through this process. But so did I, and I felt like I deserved a piece of that pie. My biggest gripe with the entire thing is that the before pictures and the after pictures looked like they were staged. If I tried to look as flat as possible and not lean and didn't flex in the before picture, but made the exact same pose, just making myself look as small as possible, and then took the after pictures after getting a sick pump, changing the lighting completely, changing my surroundings completely, I could have looked like one of these other contestants. But I didn't do that because I thought we were trying to be truthful for this entire process. But clearly we weren't. And while the fact of that does upset me, it doesn't take away from the transformations that these people made. There were 20,000 people that entered this contest. And to be honest, I don't know how many actually did, the entry form and the exit form. I doubt it was all 20,000, or maybe it was 20,000 that completed the challenge as a whole. I'm not 100% sure. So there was a large pool of people to pick from, and I have no idea how they went over everybody's questions, but I will tell you that I probably wrote 2 pages, 12 font of New Times Roman for all of my answers combined. I spent a lot of time and put a lot of detail in all of the answers on the exit form. And I explained how much MacroFactor has changed my life and how I've been able to really connect and make content, and this whole journey has been a really big deal to me. But apparently my story and my transformation wasn't compelling enough to get me to one of those spots. I'm just hoping that that just means that everybody else's story was that much more compelling and that their transformations meant that much to them. And I don't want to take anything away from these competitors and the people who did get the 101 spots. Most of these people made incredible physical transformations, and I'm sure their stories were just as compelling as their physical transformations. But the real question is, did Jeff Nippard rig this challenge? Well, to my knowledge, he didn't rig the challenge, but I will say that I'm still disappointed that I wasn't one of the 101 people that were picked. And it's probably an ego thing more than anything else, but I really did put a lot of time and effort, and I really did lock in for this challenge. I will say that my physical transformation might not be as jarring as some of the other people's transformations, but that just makes me all the more ready for the next time MacroFactor does one of these challenges. I'm gonna make sure that I'm nice and overweight, and I display that very, very keenly on my before pictures, and probably not flex at all. Maybe I'll have a nice cheat meal beforehand, and then for my after pictures, I'm gonna be the leanest I've ever been. Absolutely peeled, and I'm gonna get a disgusting pump, put some sick overhead lighting, and make myself look like a completely different person. I'm not saying that everybody did that in their physical transformations, but seeing some of the before and the after pictures, it leads me to believe that some of it looked quite unrealistic, if I'm being honest. For somebody to be making a physical transformation like this in such a short amount of time is honestly astonishing. And I congratulate everybody that won this challenge. But there are also a ton of people that made insane transformations that didn't get picked for this challenge, so it doesn't make me feel as bad. MacroFactor has a Facebook community where people post questions about the app, their progress, all sorts of stuff. So when this challenge ended, a lot of people shared their opinion and how they felt about how people posed and what I brought up earlier. And they also shared their own transformations. And honestly, to me, it looked like a lot of these people had better physical transformations than what I'd seen in the 101 people that had won. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they deserve to win. Maybe the way they answered the exit form wasn't as heartfelt. They didn't have a huge emotional or life-changing transformation outside of the physical portion of it. So it doesn't mean they should have necessarily won, but it was nice to see that there were some people on the outside that were a little disappointed that they didn't win. So I felt like I had a community of people who tried really hard and got through this challenge and didn't win, but were disappointed to see they weren't included in that group. So we have our own little community of, I don't want to call us losers, but not cash prize winners, of people who completed this challenge, and we can kind of share our thoughts and opinions. While I may have had some harsh opinions about this challenge, overall, I think it's great for the fitness community. I believe that MacroFactor is an incredibly life-changing app, and I think that everybody should track their calories at least once in their life. It'll give you so much information about what feels good in your body, what changes your body, and so many other things that you can learn through the process. And MacroFactor has really done that for me, and that's why I'm such a big proponent of it. I'm not an affiliate with the app, I don't have any relation to them whatsoever, I'm just a guy making videos. And overall, I think the challenge is a net benefit for the fitness community. Having a dedicated time where we're all working to achieve a physical transformation, and it having positive and life-changing benefits in that process. Another added benefit is having that Facebook group where you can talk to all the other people using the app, talk about how your journey is going. Having that community and that support is a net benefit in my opinion. So yes, I am disappointed that I didn't win, but I am definitely still glad that I did the challenge. And I'll definitely be more prepared for the next one. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click on one of the other videos on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.